we've got the hot topic for this morning. So once again, welcome, 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 all of you wealth warriors. Welcome, audience. Okay, so here's the question, or here's the statement. It's all about the exposure. All about the exposure. So my question is, how exposed are you? I don't mean that kind of exposure. Come on now. We're here for business. We're talking about business here, ladies and gentlemen. So I want to start off by saying good morning. Good morning, Pamela Stone. First one on the broadcast this morning. Good morning, Wealth Warrior Ambassador Robin Tennille. Excuse me, Wealth Warrior Ambassador Platinum Robin Tennille. It is great to be up this morning. It's Saturday in New England. Do you know what that means? It means warmth. So we are truly, truly, truly excited. It means warmth. It means that we are seeing sun. You have no idea of what that means for New Englanders. In fact, this week on Friday, I was at Anthony Robbins' event. No, was that Friday or Thursday? Thursday, I'm sorry. I was there Thursday. Wow, the days go by quick. I was there Thursday. He hasn't been to Massachusetts in 11 years. He says, oh my goodness, the last time he was in the New England area, it was Memorial Day weekend. And he said, and people were calling him saying, are you kidding me? You're going to have your event on Memorial Day weekend? What the heck is going on? You're going to have your event on Memorial Day weekend? And he said, what is it? Is it the first time you people see sun or what? And the answer is yes. In fact, I had people calling and saying, inboxing me and saying, Brent, why is it that you are constantly wearing black? And you know why? Because I'm in mourning for the sun. So I'll tell you what, if we can get one full week of beautiful weather, I'll change the top. I will put some other color on other than black. But till now, so everybody knows, it's about the morning, ladies and gentlemen. I am morning color. Well, I'll tell you what, we are starting out. Today's show it's all about exposure. It is Insurance 102. We're talking about your liability and professional liability insurance. That's what we're talking about this morning. That's the topic. So let me start out, first of all, by giving some shout outs to some of the tribe members, and especially those that were with me, or I was with them, whichever way we want to look at it, at Tony Robbins' event on Thursday. And so the first shout out goes to Robert Cummings. Excuse me, I can't believe I just did that. Ronald Cummings, Mr. Wonderful. By the way, thank you for being on the broadcast with me this morning, Ronald. We did videos together. It was a blast. I'll tell you, this gentleman, radio show, he knows how to put that information out on the air. So I was taking lessons from him. I want to give a shout out to VIP Amanda Bruin, who was also at that event, and one of my best friends that I hadn't seen in a while. And you know what? You know it's a best friend when you haven't seen them in a while and you just connect and pick up wherever you left off. And that is none other than Jennifer Kaufman, who is running. She is doing tournaments. She is doing marathons. And so congratulations to her. I'm going to be seeing her soon. And it was great to see her. Other shout outs and mentions. Oh my goodness, I met folks at that event. So I want to give a shout out and say, hey, Todd Walker, it was great to meet you. I met Tiffany Finnegan. I also met Angela Cecily. We sat together and it was wonderful. I met Martin Kinney, Farrell Carley. I met Juliet Willoughby. Hi, she's out in the far western side of Massachusetts. Denise Burns, we did a video together. Cecilia Bardellas, we did a video together as well. It was absolutely wonderful. Had a nice time. Kathy Bailey, pleasure to see you. A pleasure to say your name. I met you. And I also sat with Lynn Gonzalez, who is a photographer. So I just want to give a shout out to those that were with us. We had a great time. Now, who gets bragging rights? We got some bragging rights to give out today. First and foremost, our international bragger is none other than Robbie Abukar, she gets bragging rights for international, hailing out of the great country of Nigeria. She is a professional network marketer. She loves this industry. And so you got bragging rights for this week. Who is our domestic or our national bragger? Who gets bragging rights? And that is none other than Al Peters. He is also a network marketer. You know, one of the things I know about network marketers, they will rise early. So to them and to the industry, we say, you got bragging rights for the week. You get the trophy. And that is so cool. Want to give a shout out, Christopher Clem. Hi! It is great to see you. Yay! I haven't talked to him in a long time. Another network marketer. No, the industry is not proliferating. Not everybody on my broadcast are network marketers, but we're just mentioning. How about that? Well, I'll tell you what, with that being said, I'm going to ask everybody to do a major favor. We want to increase the numbers. We want to bring more people on the broadcast. We want them to be able to get the complimentary nuggets that I'm going to be sharing this morning. So here's what I'm going to ask you to do. I'm going to ask you to pick up your phone. Imagine this is a phone. And I'm going to ask you to hit the share button and share this broadcast. Share it with them. They can come up on my Facebook page, Brent Harding. Actually, it's now Brent S. Harding too. They can come up on Brent Harding. They'll find me. And let them know there are solid nuggets here to be gained today. We want to increase the viewership. I am so proud of everyone because our viewership in terms of the broadcast is hitting the 100 mark. So now we're looking to get 150 viewers. We're going to keep increasing, keep growing this thing. So I am asking you to hit that share button and invite everybody in because they want the nuggets, especially the people that you know that own businesses. Who do you know that owns a business? Who do you know that wants to be an entrepreneur? We want to get them here so that they can get the things that they need to grow their business. Who do you know that wants to attain wealth? Who wants to keep the wealth that they have attained? Then guess what? It's happening right here. This is the space, the place to be on Saturday mornings. So I want to welcome all of you and thank you, Robin Tennille. Thank you so much for hitting the share button. Please, everybody, hit the share button. Let's be generous. Givers, 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 get. Give, give, get. Give, give, get. Can everybody say that with me? Give, give, get. Absolutely. Okay, so who is our sponsor for today's program? Today's show is being sponsored by Let's Talk Good Health. And the product that they are promoting is Total Life Changes, TLC, and it's the IASO tea that you heard me talk about last week. Congratulations to Robin Tennille. She became a distributor for TLC. So you want to go up to her Facebook page, hit her up, say congratulations, and how do I get some of that weight loss tea? Because I'll tell you, makes you svelte. I got some great compliments on Thursday night because I'm drinking the tea. We're actually going to do a tea party on the air. You can expect it in a couple of weeks. We're going to do a tea party and we're going to invite you to see some pictures, some before and after pictures. I haven't shown my before and after picture on the broadcast or on the air because I've been waiting for that opportunity. So I'm going to show it. Snap. Okay, with that being said, here's the topic for today. It is about your exposure. What is exposure when it comes to being an entrepreneur? What is exposure when it comes to being a small business owner? Hey, what is exposure when you are a homeowner? Exposure is this is Brent's definition. And remember this, my disclaimer, I am an entrepreneur. I'm a person that has 20 years of entrepreneurial experience. I'm going to tell you, I'm a serial entrepreneur. I love it. I live it. I don't have blood cells going through my body. I have little entrepreneur cells going through my body. My DNA says entrepreneur, 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 entrepreneur. So where there are X's and Y's, the chromosomes, mine say entrepreneur, because that's who I am. So when I share this with you, I'm sharing from the perspective of being an entrepreneur that's lived it, breathed it, smelled it, understands it. Okay? With that being said, let me clarify exposure. Exposure is what is a value that can be taken away from you because of an incident or something that occurred within your business, your professional, your personal life that now gets attached because of a mistake, a crisis. It could be anything. For example, what I shared with you last week was the woman who walked out of my home-based business and walked down the stairs. And as she was walking, she said to me, I would just like to stub my toe. I want to just stub my toe and sue somebody. And what did I say? I said I literally ran back into my office. I asked my assistant to come out, look at the person, leave. And I said, she is never to come back to this office because she has already telegraphed the punch. Boom, chakalaka. I will sue you. I also shared in the realm of business, in the context of exposure, there are no friends and family. You have to protect you so that you can protect them too. So, one of the insurances that I feel very, very strongly about is professional liability insurance. Now, before we even grasp that topic, before we even touch that topic, I want you to get a pen and paper. And while we are conversing, I want you to start writing down all of your valuables. What is valuable to you? What do you not want to lose? And yes, you can start with the house, the paintings, the jewelry. I want you to get specific about items that are of value because that's where exposure begins. When somebody wants to sue you, they're looking at your assets. And with that being said, let's say, hello, Janice. Welcome to the broadcast. I'm glad to see you. Thank you. Hit us up. Let us know what you do or what brings you to the broadcast this morning. Love to have you. Glad you are with us. Oh my goodness. Joseph Barnell. I hope I'm saying this, saying Barwell. I apologize. Joseph, thank you so much for being on the broadcast. It's great to have you with us. We are talking about exposure, exposure, exposure. And I've got to share something with you. It is no joke. It is real. Exposure is real because people will tunnel through your life. So the very first thing we do before we even consider buying any other insurance other than our life insurance is we start evaluating. That is step one. See, we need to get clear with the process so that we know what exposure we actually have. And when we're sitting down with somebody, we can address that exposure. And they then help us define it because typically people are clear they're going to cover their house, so they have homeowners insurance. They are going to cover their vehicle insurance. They're going to have health insurance. They're going to have life insurance. But typically beyond those four, most people are not connecting all of the dots. So the first process in my mind, or what I'm suggesting to you, is define out your exposures. What do I have? And again, I go back to you're in business. So my exposure is in my business. What type of business do you have? Do you have a storefront? Do you have an office? Do you have a home office? Where is your business functioning out of? Now, this is whether you're a solopreneur, whether you're an entrepreneur, whether you're a mompreneur, whether you are a small business owner, whatever the case may be. It is about the exposure. And it is about knowing what values you have. So, pen, paper, let's start, while I'm talking to you, let's start writing down that list. So you've got dual minds going on, okay? So get prepared for that. Before we get underway with content, we've got announcements. And we have joining the Wealth Warrior community. So why don't I start with that? Do you want to be a part of the Wealth Warrior community? It is a closed group. That is totally about wealth. In fact, it is a perpetual state of what do we need to do to create the wealth. Now, wealth has a different number depending on who you are. So, depending on who you are, what you're doing, where you are at in your life. So, I'm going to equate wealth to lifestyle. What type of lifestyle do you want, and what's it going to cost you in terms of the exchange? And the exchange in this case is cash. What is it going to cost you to create that lifestyle? We talk about that every Saturday morning starting at 9 a.m. We're talking about wealth. We're talking about the elements that create wealth. So we're talking about credit. We're talking about real estate. We're talking about insurance. We're talking about trust. We're talking about legals. We're talking about accounting. We're talking about taxes. If that is something, if you want the nuggets of these type of conversations, then you want to join the Wealth Warriors group. It is a closed group on Facebook. Go up to the Facebook page and say, I want in. Check out the Wealth Warriors group page and click and say, I want to join. And we'll invite you in. Thumbs up for that one. Now, in terms of announcements, every Thursday, we have open office, or I shall say Brent Harding has open office Q&A with Brent Harding. And on the 22nd, Thursday the 22nd, I'm going to do something a little bit different. We are going to bring the open office into another sphere. We're inviting you down to join me at the Quincy Innovation Center at 180 Old Colony Avenue in Quincy. Now, here's the deal. There is security there. I need to know that you're coming. So inbox me and say, I'm coming. Go up to the Wealth Warrior Group page. There is a invitation. Click and let us know that you're coming. We already have people that are coming, and I'm excited. Now, what are we going to do there? We're going to have some mad fun. It's called Rapid Fire. We are going to have you introduce your business to the world. We're going to have you introduce your business to my tribe, to your tribe, to everybody's tribe. We're going to have a camera that's going to be sit down for interviews, and I'm going to be interviewing people. We're going to have another camera that's going to be about rapid fire, and you're going to give us your 6-second elevator pitch. And then we're going to have a third one that's going to be about testimonials. You know, givers get. So it's going to be about the testimonials. Share who is great. Give them an opportunity. Shine for them. Share their story and say why you like them, why you feel that they should be validated, and you want to do business with them. So I am jazzed and excited. So we're going to have 3 things going. It's going to be motion, motion, motion. Yay! So you want to be there. This is an opportunity for us to meet each other. It is about the networking. Who do you know that should be there? You want to invite them on as well. Let them know that open office Q&A on the 22nd of this month, June 22nd, is going to be all about rapid fire and exposure. Come on down. Fantastic. Also, every Thursday is open office Q&A with Brent Harding. So this coming Thursday, I'll be there. And I shared with you in the feed that I expected to have a colleague on that's going to be sharing a very special something. We weren't able to get him on this morning. However, I've invited him to this Thursday night to be on open office Q&A, and I'm going to interview him. And he's going to be talking about a specific currency. Everybody know what that means, right? Everybody know. So he's going to be talking about that. So you're going to get a chance to hear something. It's going to be a Wealth Warrior Flash. How about that? On Open Office Q&A with Brent Harding. With that being said, hit the share button. See, this is now the symbol. When you see me do this, that means hit the share button and share with somebody. Bring them into the fold so they can get the content and enjoy the experience. Okay, we are talking about exposure, insurance 102. Now, we're talking about professional liability insurance. So by virtue of the word professional, it is saying that there is a profession that you want to fit into. Network marketing is a profession. Consulting is a profession. Narrowing it down to a specific kind of consulting will better define the professional portion that you are going to be bringing to the table for that insurance company, for that insurance representative to look into his or her lineup of insurances and to find out if professional liability, if you are able to get a professional liability policy. Because not every profession has a professional liability policy that can be written. So I want to share with you that there are two categories that I'm going to be talking about relative to professional liability insurance. One category is the actual written policy that is specifically written for your industry. It is a professional liability insurance policy. The other is a rider to an existing policy. For example, you have homeowners insurance. You may be able to get a rider for your home-based business with that policy. You may have, and let me hit a third one, and that would be your business insurance. So we have a standalone professional liability policy. We have a rider to your homeowner's insurance, and then we have a business insurance policy. I'm going to focus in on two, the standalone and the rider. In your standalone policy, it is predicated on industry. There are some industries that a professional liability policy is not going to be written because it either warrants it under business insurance or it has some other form of insurance. So you are looking to cover you in industries in which you have exposure that you didn't expect. For example, last week I talked about the travel agent. Now, the travel agent, there are policies that are required by industry. And then there are policies in which you want to cover for yourself because your insurance agent or whoever you are doing business with, for example, if you're in network marketing, you might be an independent contractor, you might be an affiliate. So whatever insurances they have may not cover you. And so you would want to have insurance that covers you specifically, that covers you, that covers your business, that covers you for any potential exposure. So you're saying a travel agent, what could cause a travel agent to be sued? And one of the things that we know that can cause a travel agent to be sued is when you, the audience, you, the purchaser, do not purchase trip insurance or travel insurance, and then something happens, you miss the flight, you miss the cruise, and now you want to go back and sue the insurance agent. Now, a lot of insurance agents will say, and I'm sure those that are watching, Linda Davis, hey there, cruise and fly. And she's, by the way, you know that Linda Davis has been a sponsor previously. And so we always appreciate those sponsors. But let's say Linda Linda actually puts together a package. She sells a package to an individual, and the individual misses the cruise for whatever reason, and they didn't buy insurance to cover them. So what ends up happening? They're going to come back to Linda and say, it was your fault. I spent $25,000 and it's all gone. It's your fault. Linda says, hey, wait a second. I said trip insurance. You said no. And so we went on. Well, here's the question. Now, let me ask you, where is the exposure in that scenario? Think about it. Where's the exposure in that scenario? Time's up. Anybody know the answer? Put it in the feed. Who knows the answer? There is exposure there just in those few words that I shared with you. So what's the exposure? Okay, I'm going to set that aside for just a moment. Let it percolate for a few seconds. Hey, Leo Edwards, welcome to the broadcast. We are talking about exposure, and we're not talking about put the clothes on or take them off. We're talking about insurance 102. Want to share another scenario with you. You're an advisor. You are, let's say you're a consultant or you're a coach, and you are making suggestions, you are making recommendations, and you're advising someone. You're not recording the conversation, but you're expounding on that. And you've made a suggestion that costs your customer or your client money because of the suggestion that you made. And they come back and they say they're going to sue you. Where is the exposure? Put that over. So we have the travel agent, we have the consultant. Let's say you have a mom and pop small business. Now I'm trying to think of something. No, I got a better one. Let's say you have a pop-up roadie business. I happen to like roadies. By the way, I had one of the worst roadies on the planet last Thursday. It was awful. I almost want to tell you where. I can tell you it was in Dorchester. I can tell you it was on Washington Street. That's all I can say. It was awful. But anyway, we're not going to talk about that. You have a pop-up food shop, a pop-up food stand. And you just decided to pop up. You got clearance to be at an event. You're at what I'm trying to think of what you're up in Franklin Park. You're up in a park. You're at an event. You got the license so that you could have your pop-up food stand there. And so now you've got it. Somebody alleges that they became ill because of your food. What's the exposure? So that's number 3. Now I'm looking in the feed. I'm looking. I don't see any answers. Why? Why don't I see any answers? That's why we're watching your broadcast, Brent. Come on, get a clue. I got you. Okay, so let's look at the travel agent. Where is the exposure? The exposure is that she or he has nothing in writing that says that they had a conversation with the customer or the client and that person declined. There is nothing, there's no initials on any document that says that they declined. Exposure could have been covered with a policy. When they made a claim, you went to your insurance, you went to your professional liability insurance, and you said, hey, I did, they didn't. I don't have any documentation. They are suing me. I have to tap into that policy. Exposure. The exposure is because you do not have anything that validates or says that you actually had a conversation, that they made a choice, that you advised them, you gave them the pros and the cons, and they still made a choice. You are exposed. The second scenario, we're going back to and oh my goodness, they're going back to your homeowner's insurance policy. You have a small business in the house. You've made that recommendation to that individual. The individual followed the recommendation, did not have the success. They lost money. So what could it be that you did? You saw an excellent, extraordinary event that you knew that the person that you were coaching should be at. They said, and you suggested that they get a table, they get a vendor table there, and that vendor table cost them literally thousands of dollars. Let's say, because this was a high-end event. So let's say that table cost them $2,500. We know the tables can run thousands upon thousands, double-digit thousands of dollars. They spent $2,500 for that table. They spent X amount of dollars to get into the event. They spent X amount of dollars on all of the collateral. And so now they have, let's say they're in for 10 grand. So we know that they had to make 10 grand just to break even. And then they needed to be in profit mode. They hired let's take that hired out. We're not going to do that one. They have exposure, or you have exposure, they've lost money. They're coming after you for that 10 grand, and they're willing to pay an attorney a few $100s to come after you. It happened in your house. You're a home-based business. You then look to your homeowner's insurance policy because it happened in your house. You've got a policy, and you now look to that policy. You call up your insurance agent, and your insurance agent says, well, Brent, you didn't get a rider to this policy. You told them that they would make money as a result of this event. You picked that event for them. Do you have professional liability insurance? Have you checked that policy? Because this homeowner's insurance policy doesn't cover it. You don't have any riders for this. Exposure. In the third one, a little bit different. Let me roll back. On that second one with the homeowner's insurance, here's the deal. Similar to the first one, do you have any documentation that supports the fact that you have shared this, you've made this recommendation? However, it is the client's choice to go forward, that they accept full responsibility for this event, that they accept full responsibility for their business in this scenario. Did you get that? Documentation is king. Paper is still king. Yes, you can have an electronic signature. I'm still printing off an electronic signature because if my machine goes down, let me tell you this, trees aren't going anywhere. Paper, for example, in real estate, at the registry of deeds, is paper not, do we have to sign paper? Yes, we do. Yes, we do. So if real estate, and I oftentimes use real estate as the barometer because real estate is one of the only industries for which it is imperative. Paper is imperative. The documentation is clear. It has to be recorded. So I use a page out of that book to share that with you. Documentation. Here, documentation. So in other words, for you and I as business owners, we need to always think about the exposure and think about liability, and we want to spread the risk. Remember what I said, what is insurance? Insurance is about spreading the risk so you do not have all of the exposure. Are you feeling me on this? Are you hearing me? Are you listening? Like Michael, are you listening to me? This is important. Because part of the wealth, keeping it, you remember what we always say? It's not about how much you make, it's about how much you keep so that you can use it for your lifestyle and pass it on to the next generation. Are you feeling me, John Phillips? Good morning, Cindy Taylor. Good morning. It is great to have you on the broadcast this morning. Cindy knows what it's about. She knows, she's been in business. She understands this. So in that second scenario, where was the exposure? See, I want you to start thinking about that relative to wealth, because wealthy people always think about exposure. For sure. Always think about, how am I exposed? Because think about this, a crack, all it takes is a little crack. And if I've got a crack, I can put a leverage in there and I can open up and I can take all your stuff. Just give me a reason. There's the reason. In the last scenario with the pop-up, that food is, oh my goodness, it is such a critical, it is so critical because we don't know people's food allergies. We do not know the governance of people's bodies. The air, what happened in the air? Was there exposure in the air that dropped in the food? You said, I put a covering over it. I did everything to protect it. Somebody comes along and they say they got ill. The exposure, by virtue of the food, that's an exposure. However, you did it as a pop-up. Did you get any insurances to cover you as a pop-up? Did anybody do that? Because I'll tell you what, food is probably one of the most exposed businesses that you can imagine. And you have to be, and especially in a pop-up environment where it's not a stand, where it's not a stand in some location that gives you layers of exposure. You're out in the open. Even if you're in an environment, you're still a pop-up. You're not a consistent entity that's there. You've got to protect you. And you've got to know what covers you. Because I tell you this, it doesn't matter what the industry is. There is exposure, and there's always going to be some form of a policy to guard against. You've got to guard yourself. You've got to protect yourself. Professional liability is one I'm going to share with you universally across the board. Doesn't matter. Check with your agent. Find out if a professional liability policy can be another layer that protects you. Because you see, you remember when it comes to being sued, a person is going to sue everybody. They're throwing it up against the wall, whatever hits. So if this policy doesn't cover it, this policy covers it. This policy doesn't cover it, this policy covers it. You're spreading the risk, and you're putting everything in front of you so that you are less exposed. Because in business, we're going to be exposed. No matter what, we're going to be exposed. We want to put layers in front. I want you to have to go through so many doors to get to me that by the time you do, you just sit down and go, forget it. I want you to forget it. I want you to have so many doors to go through that you just say, forget it. I'm tired. I don't even want to do this. That's what I'm looking for to happen for you. Did you get some nuggets? Are you feeling me on this? Somebody say hashtag professional liability insurance. Somebody put it in there, because I know you had to be feeling this. Or are you busy right now and everything you could be exposed for? And get to the nitty gritty. Get down to the jewelry in the jewelry box that is broken, but it's got value. Because we got some gold in there. We're not putting it in those envelopes anymore and sending it to somebody. So how can you be exposed? If you are a homeowner and you operate your home-based business, have you checked out those stairs? Have you checked out those stairs? Have you checked out the railings to make sure that they are not shaking? Have you checked the rugs that when you come up the stairs, there's a rug on because you think it's a beautiful thing to have that rug that says welcome, and somebody trips over the rug, hits that door, and you open it and they hit the ground. 1, 2, 3. Ouch! That's what we're talking about. With that being said, let me share with you great news. We have, and this is called a station break. I want to talk to you about the upcoming E3 Powerup. E3 Powerup, E3 Powerup, E3 Powerup, E3 Powerup, E3 Powerup is going to be the conference of the fall season, and you want to be there. It is going to be the conference of the fall season, and you want to be there as a VIP, a VEEP. Why? Because we have so much happening. First and foremost, it is September 30th. That's right, September 30th. And we are already moving those VIP tickets. It is going to be in Boston. I have two selections, and I'm going to look again at those because I want you to have the best seating, the best visibility, the best experience ever. We do know it is going to be in the city of Boston. We know that it's going to be easy access. So what's going to be happening at this E3 Powerup that would make you want to be there? First and foremost, it is an award-winning women's conference. It is about educating for business clarity, getting clear with your business so that you can put forth your best foot, if you will, so to speak. It doesn't matter whether you've been in business for 2 years, 5 years, 10 years or more. There is something in there for you. So we're educating for business clarity. We are empowering ourselves through the success stories, local success stories. There are local heroes here. We want you to have an opportunity to shine. And we're validating entrepreneurship as the best vehicle for securing your financial independence. We are going to be talking about investing. Do you know that there are companies here, right here in Massachusetts and in other states, that have investment clubs that you can invest in a project and get quarterly dividends? You didn't know that, did you? We're going to be talking about that. We're going to be talking about the quickest path to success. One of the mightiest tools that gives you the quickest path to success is going to be discussed at that event. We're going to be talking about raising your profile so that people see you. Instead of you chasing them, they are coming to you. Instead of you chasing them, they are coming to you. So we're going to raise your visibility. People are going to see you in extraordinary places, and they are going to come to you. Would you like to be selling your products to millennials? Well, then we got to bring a millennium in that can share with us how we communicate with them. Because that is so important. How do we communicate with them so that they trust us and so that they will do business with us? Are you an entrepreneur? Have you ever heard of the acronym MSPP? And MSPP is an alternate to a business plan, especially designed for entrepreneurs. We're going to be discussing that during the VIP set. So it's an all-day affair. And then for the VIP set, oh my goodness, we've got advanced training for you. We have got America's crowdfunding expert coming to Boston to be with us. Dr. Letitia Wright will be in the house. And guess what? I got confirmation for our lunch speaker, and you will know who that person is on the third Saturday of this month, which is next Saturday, when we will be talking all things E3 Power Up. But we've got a luncheon speaker as well. We've got Dr. Letitia Wright flying in from California. We have Pamela Stone flying in from Ohio. We have our Wealth Warrior Platinum Ambassador coming in from Michigan for this event. You want to go up to the E3 Power Up Facebook page or Eventbrite and get your tickets now. There are only 25 remaining tickets for, there may be less than that now, for the VIP set. And right now it's all about the VIPs. You want to be there. By the way, this is a women's event. However, fellas, we want you there. You know why? Because we are selling to you. So we need to be able to talk to you. So if you are supportive of women's businesses, if you are a husband of a wife that is in business, if you are a partner in business, and you are a gentleman and you want to know what we're thinking, men always say, I don't know what she's thinking. Well, guess what? Here's your opportunity to find out what we're thinking in business. That's E3 Power Up coming September 30th. You want to be there? Yes, yes, and yes. With that being said, come on back. Let's talk about exposure, exposure, exposure. Now, you've written up all of the exposures. Everything, you've written out what you can be exposed for. You have done the perimeter check of the house. You're clear about where your office is going to be established, which is very important because that speaks to exposure. You are at greater exposure in a home-based business than you are if you have an office space. So maybe you have an office, maybe you have shared office space, maybe you have incubator space. Okay, so you need to be clear with your agent as to what space you are working from, because that will dictate exposure. That will also define the cost of your policy, and it'll let the agent know, do I need to put a rider on the homeowner's insurance policy? Do I need, or does he or she need two policies? Do they need a professional liability policy as a standalone, or do they need a rider and? So you might need both of them. And again, spreading the risk. Insurance is a cost of doing business. Now, I typically would say that you can write it off. The funny thing is, people will say, well, Brent, you got to first have it to write it off. I got that. You're right. You do. You got to have it to write it off. You still have to have it regardless. You still got to have it regardless. Are we good? Excellent. Okay. What does it mean? It means hit the share button, bring people on, because we are in the last 10 minutes of the broadcast and I want to feed you. I want you to be eating this meal of insurance. On the count of 3, 1, 2, 3, hit the share button, bring them into the fold. We want them here. And I thank you very much for that. We're looking to do 150 views this morning. You think we can make it? I believe we can. If you. Thank you very much. All righty. With that being said, let's talk with some more depth and kind of put this in a nice package. Reading is fundamental. It is so critical that you read the policy and read it with enthusiasm, excitement, be pumped up, because you now know the onus is not on you. It's on them. It's on your insurance company. And guess what? They're doing the same thing. That's why they will ask you for a description of your business. They'll ask you what type of business. They'll ask you about your client base. In some instances, they'll ask you the ages of your clients. So guess what? Through this policy, you are going to get intimately familiar with your business. You are going to know your business inside and out. You are going to be able to recite it. When somebody says they would love to have you come in and do a speech, please send us a description. Holy smokes, are you going to be able to give them a description? Because you understand your business, because that insurance company is going to understand your business. Before they put themselves on the line, they're going to understand your business. And so you want to get clear about, again, where is your business going to be launched at? In some instances, it may make sense for you to purchase that incubator space. Because it's so relatively inexpensive. Most incubator spaces will run anywhere from $100 to $350, depending on where they're located at. It may make sense because of the exposure. You might share it with somebody. Make sure that you're on the lease or whatever that agreement is. Okay. So again, where are you located at? What is your profession is first, because what your profession is and what the exposure is dictates whether or not you get a professional liability policy, whether a professional liability policy can actually be written. Because in some instances, it is not able to be written, and they're going to suggest that you do something else. So again, exposure. Important. What type of industry? So Google it. Go up to ask.com, and remember, those are search engines. They are not research engines. They are search engines. So you're going to have to dig deep. And I'm going to share this with you. Go up on YouTube. I'm going to share this with you. You want to know something about the policy. When you go in and sit down with your insurance professional, you want to know something about professional liability insurance. So that you have great questions to ask. Not good questions. Good questions is comfortable. You want to get uncomfortable. You want the great questions, because you would like to leave that legacy for the family. Yes? Yes, no, yes, no. Do you? That's what we're talking about. So we're talking about creating wealth, living our lifestyle, and passing it on to the next generation. So they can look at the picture above the mantle space, and say, that is Auntie That is mom, that is dad who made it possible for me to have the lifestyle I'm living. Very important. Good morning, Linda Davis. How are you? Linda, please put the name of your travel company in the feed because I have not said the full name and I have talked about you this morning. So please put it in the feed. Thank you. Hey, by the way, I'm not seeing nugget signs. Remember, thumbs up tells me that you got some nuggets. Thumbs up. I'm not seeing the thumbs up. I know you're writing, but give me some thumbs up. Show me some hearts and love. I need some. I'm here by myself. And glad to be here. Glad to be with you. I'm not by myself. There are hundreds of viewers. So I am enthusiastic to be here with you this morning. Exposure, liability, reduce yours. It's a part of wealth because let's put it this way. If somebody is not suing you, if you're not having to set aside money, that means you've got more money to enjoy your lifestyle, more money to set aside for the next generation. That's what it is. That's really what it is. So we're minimizing that exposure. So you are reading that policy. You have already shared your industry. You've shared your client base. You have shared the nuances of your business. You have shared where your business is lodged at. You've shared where your vehicle is lodged at. You've shared the fact that you do not transport people to your office. They come to your office. You have shared the fact that if it's a home office, you have shared where the office is in the home. Are there stairs that people have to climb up or down to get into your office? What is the floor plan? Can they come directly in and make a left turn or a right turn and end up in your office? How close is the bathroom to your office so that they don't have to go very far? What does the floor plan look like? That's how intricate I believe you should want to be, because every exposure, every element adds more to the dollar cost of that policy. And guess what? We have warriors in our group that are insurance professionals. If you are an insurance professional on this feed, you need to tell somebody that, hey, I can handle that for you. If you are a warrior, part of our closed group, Wealth Warrior Group, you need to let us know that, in fact, you are an insurance professional so that we can be doing business with you. We can be circulating those dollars. We can act like a BNI that has only one of everything, except that's not true. We have many of everything. We can spread the money around. So if you write professional liability policies, you need to let us know, because there are going to be people that are going to be looking for that professional liability policy. I hope that you got some serious nuggets this morning, because we gave you some nuggets. So I'm going to wrap up by sharing this. The announcements, October 22nd, Open Office Q&A is going to be the place that's happening. You are physically invited into the Open Office Q&A with Brent Harding. We will be at the Quincy Innovation Center. We're going to have cameras rolling, and it's going to be about rapid fire. I'm going to be interviewing. We are going to also have elevator pitches. We are going to have testimonials. You are invited to network. Bring your business cards. We're going to have some refreshments. Bring yourself down physically. I'd love to meet you, see you, and greet you. Remember, every Saturday morning, Wealth Warrior broadcast is featured. We have sharing the nuggets of wealth. We're sharing the activities that you need to be doing to create wealth and how we're making money. I am hopeful. I'll be announcing this Thursday. I believe we're going to be talking about a currency at Thursday's Open Office Q&A, because somebody is going to share that. That is a departure from the standard. Remember, Open Office Q&A from 7 to 7:30 is Q&A. And then from 7:30 to 8:30, I am there to answer your questions. Bring your documents down. I will give you some suggestions and recommendations. With that being said, last station break. Are you ready to catapult your business? Do you want to take it to the next level? Well, if you do, I want you to instant message me and let me know that. There are 2 avenues that I'm going to take you down. You will raise your profile, you will raise your business by joining us at the E3 Power Up Women's Conference on September 30th. And I've got one more exposure to give you. You're going to have to instant message me to get it. Instant message me. See, it's action. It's execution. That was something that was very powerfully said during the event that I attended on Thursday. It is about action. It is about changing your state. If you do this, you will change your state of being. If you are sad, the endorphins get raised up. It's about action and executing. Hashtag action. Hashtag execute. We have got to get in movement and motion. And that's what we're doing every Saturday morning with you. I am so enthusiastic that you chose to be here. You chose to spend your time with me this morning, and I am honored. Bragging rights, carry your bragging rights, Mr. Al Peter. Carry your bragging rights, Rabbi Abukar, because you got them for this week. You get to say hashtag I got bragging rights. With that being said, I want to thank you, and I want to share with you this. Go out today and be absolutely extraordinary. And I will see you next week. Bye-bye now.